So today's the day. We'll see if we can get a start. Now, I'm not expecting for it to run for long because we don't know how much oil it has in the engine itself and how much oil it has in the gearbox. But if it can run for at least 5 to 10 seconds just to know that the engine is all good, I will be content. So catch me back as we continue to strip the front. So in the previous video, we started off by stripping the complete front, starting off with the damaged headlight and then moving on to the front crash bar. So as you can see here, this is what it looks like so far. We are getting a better look at the two radiators, the aircon radiator and the coolant radiator, and this also gives us a nice view of the front crash bar holders, one on each side, that have been slightly bent to the right, so we'll definitely have to get those changed and also straightened up. Now, in order for us to get this removed, there are 3 bolts on either side and then a couple of bolts on top where the headlight bracket is. Now, because everything has been squished up together, we do have to wangle a couple of the components to try and see if we can get them removed. So while I cracked on the other side, my dad removed the water bottle. I was hoping this would have been salvageable, but because one of the main housings cracked, we'll definitely have to get that replaced. But the water pipe looked quite good, so we can definitely make use of that. So here comes out one side of the front holders of the crash bar. Now this also has the headlight bracket on top, and this keeps everything in place altogether. Definitely holds up the radiators as well. Once that had been removed, we had a lot more space to start removing a couple of the water and air pipes as well, so that was also quite good to see exactly what we could reuse and what we had to replace. I definitely believe this side had the greater impact than the other side because it was a lot more difficult to remove, being that it was so bent towards the left. So like I said earlier, it was one of those situations where we just had to wiggle our way out of it, try bending it back and forth, as of course we will be replacing majority of the damaged items that are there. So it was just to get a better look of how things are going, what was damaged and what needed to be replaced. So with the help of a crowbar, it was just to try straighten things up a little bit better than what it was, just so that we could remove the coolant radiator, which of course has to be replaced, and next was onto the fan. This is how things are looking right now. Everything around the engine seems to be damaged, but the engine itself seems pretty good. So if we can just get the front crash bar back in, straighten those up, then we should be all good to rock and roll. Now this aircon radiator did not go without putting up a fight. Because some of the pipes were also bent, it was just a back and forth process that we took our time just to make sure we didn't damage anything else. Now once we finally got this aircon radiator out, we could have a better look of exactly how the engine is looking. Everything seemed to be in place. Of course the bolt had snapped as well, so that will definitely be needing replacing, but majority of the pipes, wires, everything seemed to be in order. So yeah, so far so good. So a quick update on the car. We've completely stripped the whole of the front end, taken all the radiators out, the intake, complete front crash panel as well, but it's not looking good. One of the oil pipes have cracked, so they've actually completely broken off. So it doesn't look like we'll be able to start the engine just as yet, but we're trying to make a plan. So let me show you what we're doing. So there's all the radiators. Here's the, well, what's left of the front crash panel. You have the fan, which is still got the module here, which we'll try salvage, but we'll see how far we get with that. The issue is coming in here with this one. So one of the oil pipes come in here, and this one has cracked off, which is leading to the gearbox oil. So one is a lead, one is a return. So what we've tried to do here is just make a quick little bypass so oil can come and go back, just so that we can try to see if the engine starts, turns, kicks, maybe run it for a couple of seconds, and then yeah, get this sort of replaced, and then yeah, then we should be good to let it run for a little bit. We don't necessarily need water now because we won't be running it for that long. Start running it to temperature, then of course you need the water to cool it and all of that. But yeah, we're just checking if all the pipes are nice and clean, so it doesn't go into the turbo, which is sitting down there, and the intakes. So yeah, just checking if all the pipes are clean, making sure everything is nice and clean, and then yeah, hopefully we can get a first start up, a first kick. What do you think, Dad? Is it going to start nicely?
You want to start that. Want to kick some ass.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to hear this exhaust. Well, I'll give you guys an update. Let's crack on. So this is our main issue. Pipe sort of cracked there, as you can see. And if it was a water pipe, wouldn't have been such an issue, but because it is an oil pipe, yeah, it's not something you can sort of change very lightly. We'll try and make a plan for now. This is not highly recommended. It will just be for start, let it run for a couple seconds, and then turn it off until we can get this replaced. Once we have this replaced, we can let it run for, of course, a bit longer. But yeah, essentially we'd want to have all the water and everything running so we can run it up to temp, see if it cools itself down, and get it all sorted. So before we get it started, we did want to remove the aircon pump. Because a couple of the pipes were damaged, it would be best to remove it, see exactly what was damaged, and then get that replaced. So once the main bracket and pipe were removed, there were just two bolts underneath that held it onto the engine itself. So once we got that loosened, it was easy to remove. Guys, so we are about to give it its first start. I don't know how long this car's been sitting, I don't know what's been happening to it, but everything looks connected, battery is fully charged. I'm gonna hop in. I've got a camera set up here by the exhaust, the camera set up in front of the engine bay, and you'll be with me in the cockpit to see its first start. Fingers crossed it starts first kick, but yeah, let's see. Now this is officially the first ever start of my crash damaged M135i. I am super excited to get this started and running. Like I said before, even if it's just for a couple of seconds, just to make sure the engine and transmission is alright, so we can move on to the rest of the body panels and get everything sorted. But for now, let's check if it starts. Hasn't started just as yet. It keeps on showing something about an ignition starter fault. So we've quickly opened up the battery here at the back. As you can see, there's power here, power there, and then no power here. So it could either be one of the pyro fuses that's possibly in here or something like that. But yeah, power there, power here,
and then nothing's been sent there. So could be that it is tripped or one of the fuses have gone. So we're just going to double check everything quickly and then see if we can get started.
So we started off by removing the battery bracket and the polystyrene holder just so that we could get more space and access to the positive terminal. Now in this positive terminal there is a small fuse in there that releases when the car is in an accident. This is just so that no power is being sent to the fuel pump and any other electronics that could cause a fire. So what we're trying to do here with some jumper cables is just trying to see if we can bypass that.
Doesn't seem to be turning over just as yet, still throwing all those ignition fault light and warnings up. We've checked all the fuses here, we've checked all the codes in the car as well, tried to clear as much as we can, tried to bypass and sort that fuse out that jumps out in the event of an accident or anything like that. Those fuses have been checked now, so we're just going to check if there's possibly power to the starter, see if maybe there's any wires or anything that have been cut there, check if the power is going to the starter motor, because you can definitely hear the fuel being sent through, so that's a good sign. But yeah, not turning over just as yet.
So here we are back for round 2 of trying to get this M135i started. I know it wants to start. I feel like we are just so close to something small, either not plugging in right, not getting enough power to it, or something like that. So our last and final resort was to send power directly through to the starter motor to hopefully get the engine turning over and then press the ignition, get the car started. We have tried everything and anything to get this thing working. Nothing's been going our way. But then all of a sudden this happened. So now we know it officially starts. This makes me even more excited to finish the rebuild and get it back on the road. If you like what you've seen, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share it with anyone you think would enjoy this rebuild, and catch me next week as we continue to get this beast back on the road. But for now, take care and I'll see you in the next video.